Hey, before we get started, I want you to do something. Think of one specific person right now, someone whose choices you've been quietly judging. Maybe it's a coworker, a family member, someone from your past you still replay conversations with in your head. Got him? Good. Because by the time we're done today, I want you to see that person completely differently. That's not just an intro hook. That's genuinely the goal of this whole video.
So here's what we're doing. We're continuing through the Sermon on the Mount, and up to this point, Jesus has laid out this massive, beautiful vision of what he calls greater righteousness, radical generosity, being a peacemaker, hungering for actual right relationships instead of just going through religious motions. Inspiring stuff, right? But right here, in the middle of all that, Jesus stops, and he gives a warning. I want you to really pay attention to this one because it's aimed at exactly the kind of person watching a video like this. Think about it. You're someone who cares enough about Scripture to sit through a teaching on the Sermon on the Mount. You want to grow. You want God's wisdom. But here's the trap hiding right behind that desire. The more you study God's wisdom, the easier it becomes to think you're above everyone else. You start losing sight of your own blind spots while you're busy diagnosing everyone else's. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, well, if they just did what I do, you already know exactly what I'm talking about.
So today we're walking through 4 things in order, exactly the way Jesus lays them out. How to deal with your instinct to judge people. How to know when to offer wisdom and when to hold back. Why asking God for wisdom matters more than trying to manufacture it yourself. And finally, the one sentence Jesus uses to sum up everything he's just taught. Stick with me through all 4. They build on each other. And that last one, it's going to hit different once you've walked through the first 3. Let's start exactly where Jesus starts. 2 words. Do not judge. That's it. No qualifiers yet. No exceptions listed. Just stop.
Now, I already know what you're thinking, because I think it too every single time I read this. It is genuinely hard not to judge. When you watch someone make a decision that looks obviously foolish, somebody blows up their marriage, somebody wastes their money, somebody keeps making the same mistake over and over, and you can see exactly why. And it is so tempting to just tell them. So let me push you further than don't judge. Because Jesus does. He wants you to take that entire instinct and flip it around completely. Instead of asking what's wrong with them, ask how would I want to be judged if I were standing exactly where they are standing? What standard would I want someone to use on me if they knew everything I was carrying?
Be honest with yourself, out loud if you need to. You'd want to be judged fairly, right? With context, with grace for the stuff nobody else can see. That's the exact standard Jesus wants you to extend outward, which is why he immediately follows up with this picture. Why do you look at the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Sit with that image. Don't rush past it. A speck? A log. Jesus is being deliberately, almost comically extreme here, because most of us are experts at spotting other people's tiny flaws while staying completely blind to our own massive ones. You know your own anger, the kind you haven't actually dealt with. You know your own pride, the kind you keep quietly excusing. You know exactly where your own log is. You've just gotten really good at looking past it. So here's your assignment, and I want you to actually take this seriously. Before you ever open your mouth to correct someone else, deal with your own log first. First, take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Notice what Jesus is not saying. He's not saying never help anyone see their blind spot. He's saying get your own vision clear first, so that when you do speak into someone's life, you're doing it from clarity, not from your own unresolved mess. Now let's say you've actually done that work. You've dealt with your own stuff. You can genuinely see clearly. Does that mean it's officially time to go fix everyone around you? Not necessarily. And this next part might genuinely surprise you, so stay with me. Jesus says, do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs. I know, that sounds harsh, completely out of context, so let me unpack exactly what's happening. He's pulling straight from the book of Proverbs, where you get this deliberate tension sitting right next to each other. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. And then immediately after it, answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes. Notice that. Those 2 proverbs look like they flatly contradict each other. And that's the whole point. Sometimes stepping in to correct someone just escalates things and makes you look and sound just as foolish as they are. Other times, staying silent just lets someone stay comfortably wrong.
Jesus isn't handing you a formula here. And honestly, I think that's the hardest, most honest part of this whole teaching. He's telling you this takes real discernment, reading the person, the moment, the relationship, and asking whether they're actually in a place to receive what you have to offer, or whether you're about to throw something valuable at someone who's only going to trample it and turn on you.
Let me get practical for a second, because this is where a lot of us get stuck in real life. Maybe it's a friend going through a divorce who doesn't need your theology lecture right now. They need you to show up with dinner. Maybe it's the opposite. Someone who's been spiraling for months and everyone around them has stayed quiet out of politeness when what they actually need is one person willing to say the hard thing. Discernment means you don't get to default to either extreme automatically. You have to actually pay attention. So let's take stock of where we are. Judge nothing, but discern everything. Deal with your own issues first, but still know when it's time to step in. If you're sitting there thinking, that's a lot more wisdom than I personally have on tap, good. That's exactly the place Jesus wants to bring you to, because his very next move is to point you somewhere specific.
Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and it will be open to you. Notice the timing of this. Jesus just handed you an incredibly high, honestly difficult standard, and immediately followed it with an invitation to go ask for help meeting it. You are not expected to generate this kind of wisdom out of nothing on your own willpower. You are expected to ask for it repeatedly, as many times as you need it. And Jesus backs this up with an argument straight from ordinary life. Think about the people who love you the most, your parents, your closest friends. Even they aren't perfect. Even they get things wrong constantly. But Jesus says, if flawed, imperfect people still want to give good things to the people they love, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? I want that to be the posture you walk out of this video with. Not gritting your teeth trying to manufacture wisdom through sheer effort. Asking a generous God for it. Over and over. Every single time you're genuinely unsure what to do.
So now, let's bring this all the way back to that one person you pictured at the very start of this video. Jesus wraps this entire section up with a single sentence that sums up everything we've just walked through. Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. That's the whole test, distilled down to one line. Before you judge, before you correct, before you decide someone else's life is any of your business, stop and ask yourself how you would want to be treated if you were standing exactly where they are. Start there, every time. And here's what should stop you in your tracks. Jesus says this one sentence sums up everything in the Torah and the prophets. Not part of it, everything. Before we wrap up, if this kind of teaching is actually helping you understand Scripture instead of just skimming past it, do me a favor and hit subscribe right now so you don't miss the next one. I've got a lot more of this coming, and I genuinely don't want you to miss it.
So here's what I want you to actually do with everything we just covered. The next time you catch yourself judging someone, and you will catch yourself probably sooner than you think, pause right there. Ask two questions. First, what's my own log in this situation? And second, how would I want to be treated if I were standing exactly where they are? That's not weakness, and it's not letting people off the hook. That's the wisdom Jesus is actually inviting you into. If this helped you see it a little differently, go ahead and subscribe for more teaching like this, and I will see you in the very next one.